What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant and this podcast. You can watch it on YouTube at Ian Edwards or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards. It's also available on allthingscomedy.com. And if you go to allthingscomedy.com, there's a host of other podcasts there with other great comics doing their own style and form of podcast. Bill Burr is there. Sam Tripoli is there, Bert Kreischer is there, Kate Quagley's there, Al Magical is there, and the list goes on and on. I'm not even naming everybody. Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer. Just go to allthingscomedy.com. Also want to thank our producer, Aaron Brungardt. Sometimes I remember to give him props, and sometimes I don't. But what up, Aaron? Thank you for putting this together every week. And our guest this week on the podcast is Lee Hudson, comic from England. What up, fam? Hey. Seen him on the show before. And how's it going out there, man?
Just super boring. They've lifted some restrictions. I went out and played basketball on my own the other day because we can do golf, basketball, and tennis. They're the three sports they've allowed as long as you do it with social distancing. So.
Oh yeah.
I went out and did a bit of shooting for a while, but yeah, it's pretty boring.
I know you're right now.
Yeah, I played since high school. I was a goalkeeper when I played like semi-pro football, so I'm good at my hands. So two sports mix well. That position anyway.
Yeah, I guess that works. So it's a few things to get into, especially with like the Bundesliga starting. But before the Bundesliga, I just read an article on BBC.com and Hudson Ado got arrested, like for possibly rape. Like
I don't know. They've been really vague. Like they said the police got called to his house at like 3 a.m. because a woman was unwell, but they've arrested him as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of reading between the lines there. I don't really know.
Yeah, he's out of jail now. He said he got out on bail. But, hey, man, you can't... I know people are young and they make mistakes, but you can't take chances. You know, it's like he possibly... I don't know how the story goes. We'll have to see how it plays out, man. But don't throw away your shit.
Yeah, that list of footballers who are getting into shit during lockdown is just getting longer and longer.
Yeah, especially when you're seeing like other footballers get caught. Like, what makes you think you're the one that's going to get away with it? You know what I mean? And then especially like women are talking too. They're not like old school women where, all right, I'm going to come over, you pay me, and I sleep with you, and the only people that's going to know is me and you. Like, you know, I saw some like a sex worker like snitching on a football player that she slept with, which is bad.
Yeah, the whole Carl Walker thing a few weeks back.
It's bad for business if you're a sex worker. Like nobody's gonna fuck with you again. Like your anonymity is what gets you more work. You know what I mean? Like the word of mouth is that you don't talk. You know what I mean? So then other people will hire you, and you're dealing with good clients. You know, they got good financial standing, and you could make some money on the low during COVID times. And you're snitching, but I guess a tabloid story pays more than
maybe
sex.
I don't know if that was the case in this one. I've not read too much about it. I think it might have just been a girl he knew or something.
Right.
So I'm not sure, but either way, he's in some bother.
Yeah, don't throw your life away, people, men or women. You know what I mean? Take care of yourselves out there. Any other stories going on in England?
No, there's loads of transfer stuff. United and Grealish is in the news.
80 million.
Again, yeah, but I mean, I don't know how they can discuss transfers when they don't even really know when the games are going on. I mean, the players are going back to training tomorrow, though, which is a small step. They're still like limited to groups of 5. It's still behind where Germany is right now.
Right. And what did you think of the Bundesliga this week, opening up? this
I
weekend?
enjoyed it. It's nice to actually have some football to talk about again.
Hmm.
Like it was weird because Germany is normally one of those places where every stadium's full, great atmosphere every game,
Hmm.
and this time it was just a little bit strange seeing stuff empty. Because I've had to go and scout games before, Premier League under-23 games,
Right.
and there's no one there at them other than other scouts and like family members. So if they play them in a stadium, it's always it's similar to that. But to
Right.
actually see like first teams playing in that environment was bizarre, but it was just nice to watch something.
Yeah.
And the quality was good. I thought they were going to be rustier than that, the players. I thought, long time out, but no, it was the quality hadn't dipped really.
Now it was pure, uncut, non-stepped on Colombian German football, just pure. It's like they were balling their ass off. So I'm like, so what happens when there is a crowd? Like, and I saw 5 games, right? And even some teams like Schalke got slaughtered, and then some other teams, like we just finished watching the end of the Leverkusen or the Bremer game,
Yeah.
and Bremer didn't look good, like in the goal column, but they still had quality players on their team. Like you could see, you know what I mean? And then another thing that made me think about the German league is the German league like, there's a few things. Like specifically Dortmund is Borussia Dortmund, right? The more successful version of Southampton in German league.
Yeah, I mean they make good signings. They bring through good young players, but the only difference is they win stuff with those players first before they sell them.
Right.
We don't do that.
Yeah, Southampton. Hold on a second. Just hold them a year or two more, and you could at least win an FA Cup, something. Like,
Yeah.
Why are they so eager to just always sell? So
I don't think the club are eager to sell. I think it's more the players.
yeah.
You have one good season in the Premier League, and all of a sudden your agent starts talking about Liverpool or Man United or Man City. Yeah, off you go.
Right. What do you think of the German Bundesliga quality compared to like the Premier League quality of play? Like, which league do you think is better?
I think tactically the Bundesliga is probably a little bit smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the coaches seem a little bit more like because in Germany as well they push. There's not many foreign coaches in Germany.
Right.
They tend to really push their own, and they've all come through they got a really good coach education system out there as well.
Right.
So I think it creates a high level, whereas in England we've got coaches from all over the world, but the way the fans demand the game is played, regardless of the style, whether it's more direct, whether it's shorter passing, they want the ball forward quickly. There's City fans who still complain about Guardiola's style of football.
Well, what are they saying?
Just too many passes and things like that. And they shut up a little bit when they're winning, but as soon as they lose a game or something, it's the style of play that's caused it. And it's
too many championships.
Yeah.
I don't like the way we're winning these fancy championships. Are those fans crazy? But the game was fast yesterday. The game was, those games, even the teams that lost, I felt like they played fast. Like I was talking to this comic, Quincy the comedian.
Yeah, I've heard Quincy.
Quincy, right? So his son was in I think it was the Spurs youth system, and he played with Harry Kane. And he would go to his son's games and stuff like that. And he said it's just like they just teach them channel football, how to run the channels and how to pass in the channels. He said all the individualism is gone out of the game. But I was just watching the German league yesterday, and I saw the channel running, but I also saw the individualism of each player. Like there was like on the teams that won and on the teams that lost. It's just like you can't lose watching German football. That was laid off German football. German football where the players had played competitively 2 months, and everybody was sharp, and everybody just looked like they could play anywhere on any team in England, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few players that stood out as well, like Julian Brandt, the blonde-haired midfielder for Dortmund,
yeah,
who was just
like
doing crazy things.
Yeah, the midfield version of Haaland. He's like the Haaland lookalike.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking from like afar as like another blonde, they got two Haalands, but this one's in the midfield, and his setups. He had an assist that wasn't an assist because it was like the second touch, and the other guy made the assist. But if it wasn't for the way he played that ball, that other guy wouldn't got the assist for the goal scorer. And he's just like, so I think he had 2 assists yesterday, but should give him at least 2.5. I mean, I was looking at that guy like somebody should try to buy him.
Well, he's only just joined Dortmund. He was at Leverkusen last year.
Shit.
So he's one that they've recognised at another club. They've taken him on, pushed him to another level. Then who knows? In another year or two, he'll probably go to one of the like giants of European football somewhere.
Yeah, he was blowing me away the way he like was pulling the strings in the midfield. Yeah,
there's a centre mid today for Leverkusen, Kerim Demba. He scored the little chip for the 4th goal.
Right.
He's a quality player as well. He was the player who came in, I think, to replace Brandt at Leverkusen, or one of them. Signed a few. But yeah, he had some quality today as well.
I was like, so where is Germany? So I'm looking at the German league. I'm looking at these games, right? And I'm like, either it's better than the English league, or the English league is better because the English league uses like maturer players that are more professional, and the German league seems like it's like a team like Dortmund. First of all, most of the teams look like their players were young, so it's almost like they're like just getting the youngest players with the most potential from all over the world and putting them on their teams and starting them. Like the players that won't be able to start on like Premiership teams because the Premiership teams already have players. Like it feel like in the German league, they're like, these are the people we're going to start. It's like if you're 25, you're old in Germany, and then you stay with the team a long time. Nobody's going to buy you. But everybody else, it seems like they're just all the young new upstarts. We're going to give them a chance all over this league and then sell them to other places. That's the feeling I got. And I've watched German football before, but I've watched it more closely yesterday just because it's the only thing to watch.
No, I mean, it's like that to an extent. They still have, obviously, experienced players out there, but you look at someone like Jadon Sancho, and he couldn't get a game at Man City. Got on the bench for cup games and stuff, but he went out there, 17 years old, and they like, well, you're good, we'll play you. And his development, he would never be at the level he's at now if he'd have stayed at City, because he just wouldn't have played. They wouldn't have played him ahead of Sterling.
Right. But just the fact that they're talking about, Borussia Dortmund is talking about selling him and discussing it with different teams. And it's like, what do they know that they have coming up? Or they're like, we'll get another one. And then, they've sold their team to Bayern so many times. You know what I mean? Like Dortmund.
Yeah.
And it's like the balls to like they're looking at football a way I think other teams don't look at football, or the German league just period. Like in England, it's like once you get your team gets good players, you want to hold on to them and then at least for 5 years, win some championships or some cups. But Dortmund's like, we get rid of him and then we'll still challenge. And then Leipzig sold their team that challenged Bayern a few years ago, and then they're still right back in the mix. So it's like, what are these teams doing in this league? Is the league easier? Is it full of young people? Like, what is the formula for the German league like this?
I think it almost advertises itself, though. Like, if Dortmund know if they get a kid like Sancho when he's not an established first-team player in the UK, and then he comes over there, they help him kick on to another level, and then they sell him, then all the other young players will be looking at Dortmund like, yeah, I need to go there.
Right.
I mean, I think that's what convinced Haaland to go there. Haaland could have gone to a bigger club. He could have gone to the Premier League. He could have gone to a bigger league, but he chose to go there because he thought it'd be right for his development, and he's been proved right so far.
Yeah. Like when I watched him play, I said, "Oh, he got it. Yeah, he's got the good, man." And it's like they had they didn't start Sancho. Pepe Reina's son got injured right before the game because I wanted to see him play. He's 17. And it's like they just have firepower and just players. Like, they're deeper than, like, Man U. You know what I mean? But then the only thing...
they just got a history of doing it. I mean, they did it with Pulisic as well. They did it with other players that came through their own system, like Mario Götze, who they sold to Bayern and then bought back in the end as well.
They gave Hummels to Bayern and took him back.
He actually started at Bayern. He got to sort of the edge of their youth team and couldn't get in the first team, so Dortmund bought him, made him a player, sold him back to Bayern, and then bought him back from Bayern again. He's gone back and forth. But yeah, I'm waiting for Dortmund to buy Lewandowski back because he was great for Dortmund. But well, wasn't surprised to see him score at the weekend. He's a machine.
Yeah. Did Roos went somewhere too, right? And then came back to Dortmund. Or
he was in the he was in the Dortmund academy and stuff, and then he broke through and then went to Gladbach. Right. And then Dortmund brought him back for a significant sum. But yeah, he did his youth at Dortmund and then went to Gladbach.
Yeah, man, it's just weird. And then, like, Leipzig, like, how many good players did they get rid of or sell, and they're right back at it? You know, so I'm like, there's some, and they don't care. And it's like, I think, you know, in English football, they trust new players, young players less than
definitely
than the German league. But you see the potential for trusting these young players, especially when we had some great, like, youth British teams recently. It's like, you know, it's like, why is there so much trust in the German league, it feels like, compared to...
I think because there's not as much money as the Premier League. And the Premier League, people are under pressure to win, like, yesterday.
But so is Germany. If you don't win, you get fired. So it's just, how are they define this pressure in Germany more than they are in England?
But like in England, like I say, you've got, like, even the bottom half clubs now can go and spend like 40 million on a player. German clubs can't do that. Only Bayern can. Dortmund can, maybe.
But you don't have to. Like, I'm looking at these quality players, like, that I've never heard of, and so much individual skill. And then I look at players, you know, I'm watching the British League all the time, right? And I'm watching teams that don't have players like this. But so is the German league? And another thing that makes me think maybe the German league is just easier because the players are younger. So, like, even yesterday, like, it felt like I was watching, you know, when you go on YouTube and you watch Angel Gomez play with the under whatever Man United squad in those games where there's no crowd, but they're competing against real teams. I felt like those guys were in their environment in the German league because they're all younger players that are used to playing for their second team or their youth team, or no crowd is the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like they were playing their under 21 games for their club.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just good to see young players playing with freedom. But I think it's shown clubs in our country where if you give the players a chance, like United, when they gave Rashford a chance, he proved that he was up to it. You look at some of the players at Arsenal this season, like Saka has been amazing for them on the left. And he's a young kid who has just been thrown in. So there's the talent's there. It's just managers need to be brave and put them in. But that was one thing that Southampton previously, I mean, we haven't done it so much the last few seasons, but previously we always did well. Like Luke Shaw was in our first team in the Premier League at 17. And it's sink or swim. So, you know, those players rise to the challenge, and then you've got an asset on your hands that you can sell. So it makes sense to do it. But for City, they don't need to sell an asset. So
I mean,
they need to win. So they'll sign a 25-year-old that's won trophies before over putting an 18-year-old kid in.
I mean, City does bring in, like, young people. Like, they brought in Gabriel Jesus, they brought in Sané. You know, Sterling was there when Pep got there, but they got him from Liverpool before they had won. Liverpool hadn't won anything and still haven't.
He's still a fairly polished player though. But like you look at Foden, I mean, he's behind, I think, where he should be in his development.
Right.
Like if he was at another club, he'd be playing every single week. He'd be in the England team.
Like I understand Foden not getting game time. You know what I mean? But it's like if another club in England had Foden, would they give him game time?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
What I see giving people game time is Man U, Spurs gives like their young players game. Like Winks came through, and if you just go back to even Bale, but Bale was exceptional. You know what I mean? But I just think
Dele Alli as well. They signed him as a teenager and put him in.
Yeah, and Arsenal, they'll give like young players a chance to, but it just feels like it's just rare. It's like especially if you're an English coach, everybody's probably read Alex Ferguson's autobiography. He's the most successful British coach. Like, why wouldn't you take a chance and just play some young people?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Chelsea this year, it's the first year they've actually done it. Previously, they were just happy spending Abramovich's money. This year, they put Mount in, they put Abraham in, they put Tomori in, and they're still looking for a bit of consistency. I don't think anyone expected them to be like right at the top this year with those players, but I think those players could win them something in 2 or 3 years if they're patient.
Yeah, I mean, it took a transfer ban for Chelsea. Yeah. Let's play like we're a German team and use some young people. Like we can't spend money, and it's like one of the best things that ever happened to them.
Yeah, but the fans want to see it as well. That's the thing. I think fans are a little bit more patient with their own.
Exactly. It's like is it Newcastle? Where does Declan Rice play? Not Declan Rice. Where does
Longstaffs?
Longstaffs, yeah.
The two of them, Matty and I forget the other one's name.
Yeah, but Matt, it's like, first of all, nobody wanted David. Is it David Bruce? Who's over there?
Bruce.
Steve Bruce.
Yeah, Steve Bruce,
Nobody wanted Steve Bruce. Those fans didn't want Steve Bruce after they had Benitez.
Rafa Benitez, yeah.
Right? And then they get him, and then he's like, let me start some young people. They got good results. They're further ahead in the table than probably I think Benitez was last year at this time. And now the fans have something to root for, like some homegrown players. It's like, it feels like they're the kids of the fans. So the fans are like going to the game to like, it's like going to your child's game and rooting your child on. That's what it adds, this extra value to the whole experience. And I just don't know.
The fans will those players to do well, and they'll give them a chance. Definitely.
I just don't understand why, I do understand, but it's not as clear. Like, I felt like before people were like, you got to play these experienced players. It's the only chance to get a win. And I understand your job is at jeopardy, but so many coaches get fired every year for not taking a chance. Why wouldn't you take a chance?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just risk. Like I say, if you weigh up the risk of an 18-year-old who may or may not perform, or a 25-year-old, 26-year-old that's won stuff and done it before, in most managers' eyes, they're gonna, if they can take that tried and tested option, they'll do it.
Yeah, but I bet if they, how everything is stats now. Like, what's the stats of passing, the stats of, how a team does in the first 15 minutes compared to the, how many challenges or whatever. Like, if you do a stat on the coaches who took a chance and played young players and stats on the coaches that didn't, you might be surprised to find out that the coaches who took a chance and played young players actually probably fared better than the volley of goddamn coaches that didn't take a chance. Like, they should run some stats on that.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. But there's some coaches though who do, like Pochettino always preferred working with young players because he says he can mold them and they're more susceptible to his ideas because he's got certain ways that he wants to play. Like at Southampton, he had so many young players on the team, and at Spurs he did the same as well, because he wants players who are hungry and will just be like a sponge and just take all that information in and do what he wants them to do, which is, I can see the benefits of it.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think, did you hear any, like, I was looking at the news just to see if like there was anything bad that happened, like, or any positive tests for corona from any of the players or the staff after the game in Germany. Did you hear anything?
No, I haven't heard anything about it. There was the only bit of controversy was the Hertha Berlin game against Hoffenheim, where Berlin scored, I think it was their third goal,
Right.
and the players all celebrated by hugging each other, and one of them kissed the other on the cheek and stuff. And some people like were a bit up in arms about that, because obviously you look at like Dortmund, when Dortmund scored, they all celebrated like apart and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
But Hertha Berlin, I mean, they don't win that much, so I think the players were just happy.
That's the only way they can get corona, by scoring. Yeah. because they're never close.
Yeah.
Like some of the rules that look funny, like it's like, they sit them on the bench and they spread out apart, but the team traveled on a bus, so they were close together on the bus.
Oh no, they split the buses now. They put them on like multiple buses, so they can sit like 2 chairs apart and stuff.
But what about in the changing room?
They have extra changing space.
Is it a change? So they just spread. So but they're touching and physically bumping. I mean, it just seems funny that, when they go to the tunnel and in the locker room, all rules are out the door.
Yeah, because there's no cameras.
Yes, because there's no cameras. It's like,
yeah.
So it's like it's part good precaution and a lot of like show.
Yeah, but it's crazy though. If you look like when there's a corner, how many players are all stood together in the box? Like you saw Haaland when I think he almost like elbowed a guy in the ribs on one of the corners. They were like grabbing each other's shirts and stuff. So it's like they can't change next to each other, but they can go out and do that. Right. It's a bit weird.
Exactly. And I guess that what's the name of the team that scored and celebrated?
Hertha Berlin.
Hertha Berlin. It's like there was a lot of celebration reflex. It's like I'm used to doing this when I score, so it's harder to not celebrate when you score than it is to.
You're trying to override the natural reaction.
Natural instinct and reflex to like celebrate. Yeah. Yeah. So when are the next games in Germany? Are they
next? No, I think it's next weekend.
Next weekend.
I haven't checked, but I think it's next weekend. Premier League's talking about middle of June for the first games. So they started another level of training this week, or as of tomorrow, and then potentially with games in mid-June, try and finish that league off.
Let me ask you a question. Did Hudson though have corona?
Yeah, at the very start he did. He got diagnosed like a day or two after Arteta, because Arteta was the first like high profile figure in the Premier League to get it.
So then you had a girl come over, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, stupid.
And the girl came over. What are you doing coming over there, girl? I know he's $1 million, £1 million, whatever football player, but it's like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know if they've done the research on whether you can still carry it after you've had it, or I don't know what the deal is with it. I'm just trying to avoid it so I don't have to find out.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what's his name? The buyer. He had it for like 6 weeks. Yeah,
at Juve.
Yeah. He's like one of the first football players diagnosed with it. And he might have gotten rid of it by now, but he had it for a while. He
has, yeah. He announced it the other day, but yeah, they kept retesting him and he kept coming up positive for it. It took him a while to shake it.
So yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Hudson is thinking. Apparently he ain't thinking, and that's why he's in the situation he is. I hope everything's all right on both sides with him and the chick, but that's bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see any of the Korean League?
Yeah, I watched the first game because the first game was I think it might have been last weekend or the weekend before.
Yeah.
I watched Suwon against John Book, and it was fucking terrible.
Oh yeah.
But that was the start of their season, so they've had a longer off season. It's not like Germany where they just stopped for 2 months. Like they haven't played for ages, and it
Right.
showed. It was terrible, really, really bad.
So
um, yeah,
you
there
know
was
what?
just no real structure to it. It was just bad.
Oh yeah. You know what England should do? It's like when the season starts and they finish the season, right? They should just go right into the beginning of the new season.
I think they're planning something like that. There won't be as big a break.
Yeah, maybe a week off because you already kind of technically had a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's like if you finish the season and your players are all warmed up, why give them a big downtime when you could just like fuck it, just start the season because you
yeah.
already
I
had a
don't.
break.
I don't think it'll be a week. I think it'll be slightly longer because I think they need to sort people's contracts out.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that's been one of the big things over this is the sort of legalities of the contract. Because the contract, like it runs till a certain date, not till the end of the season.
Right.
So I think most contracts expire at the end of June. I think 30th of June.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking into the legalities of that, and teams will need to have time to sort out their business before the next season, even if it's a couple of weeks later or something. I don't know how it'll work, but yeah, I expect it to be a shorter preseason and a shorter break for sure. Try and catch up. They're talking about maybe cancelling like the Carabao Cup or something just to free up some game weeks so they can try and get back to the old schedule. But the next World Cup's going to mess with that as well.
Right. You think
it's in the winter?
Think there's going to be an FA Cup final this year?
I don't think so. I think they'll scrap that. I think they'll just try and finish the league.
Right.
I think that's a priority.
And Scotland just gave Celtic the title.
Yeah, they did that today, and they relegated Hearts, who they were only 4 points off of safety, with 24 points to play for. So it's like I don't know if there's a legal case there for something, but they're talking about maybe keeping them up and expanding the league because it's only like a 12-team league anyway, or something. The Scottish league.
Oh yeah, they could do that.
So,
they could do that.
Yeah, they might do that, but I think it'd be harsh to relegate a team who still had the ability to stay up.
Right.
I think that's one of the problems of the Premier League as well. But I think they may have said there won't be any relegation. I'm not sure.
I mean, if they're going to play the games, somebody's going to get relegated. Are Premier League, they plan on playing all 9 games?
I think so, yeah.
If I'm Liverpool, I'll just be like, play the first 2, win, and just be like,
we're done.
Done, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just, Shaqiri, go out there, you know?
Yeah, I think it would be hilarious if they stopped them from winning the title, but I can't argue that they deserve it. So hands down, they deserve it. But
they're lucky this tragedy happened like this year as opposed to listen, what if this had happened last year when the race was that close?
Who knows?
That would have been like crazy. When Liverpool and Man City were like a point apart for like the last probably 10 games of the season.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see when the league starts again, whether people's form carries on in the way that it was prior to this, or whether teams just come out of nowhere, or like you got some teams like Sheffield United were amazing before this. And who knows, if this restarts again, they might just be terrible all of a sudden. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Give you guys a chance.
They're right behind Man U. So yeah, I hope their form is terrible.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's maybe given like clubs extra time, because I mean managers have had nothing to do, so I don't know if it's given them extra time to analyse opposition and figure out ways of beating teams and stuff.
Well, a lot of people, everybody's got their injured players back, so that changes things. Everybody's got their injured players back. Everybody, but Germany was pretty sharp, man. Their players look pretty amazing.
Yeah, so most of the stuff there went to the form book as well. Like you expected Bayern to win, you expected Dortmund to win, I expected Leverkusen to win today.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few that I didn't quite see coming. I thought Leipzig would have won, but they didn't against Freiburg. But
Right.
they were lucky to get a draw. Actually, that VAR goal got ruled out late on for
Yeah, I
Freiburg.
saw that. I saw it. It was like in the 88th minute. I was watching that game, and I was rooting for Leipzig, and they're very attacking. They just couldn't finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that guy got that goal. I'm not sure that was offside. That wasn't an offside.
Yeah, it didn't look. It was marginal.
Yeah. It looked like the prayer hand emoji was looking out for them.
But that Leipzig team are worth watching. Though. There's a couple of players there, like Timo Werner, the centre forward. Like Liverpool are after him. It'd be interesting to see where he goes. Bayern, I think, are looking at him as well.
Right.
But yeah, there's a few players out there. I think there's a centre back as well, Upamecano, big French centre back, who I think a number of Premier League clubs are looking at as well. So yeah, Germany's like the shopping mall for talent right now.
Hilarious. I was looking at what was I looking at? Well, I wasn't. What do you compare? Moussa Dembele. Like, there's so many rumors flying about. So Moussa Dembele from, is it Lyon?
Yeah, the centre forward. Yeah,
centre forward.
The one who used to be at Celtic and Fulham.
Yeah, and he's linked to Man United. Is he better than Timo Werner or?
No, I think Werner's better. But Dembele, he's still good. He'd be a capable Premier League striker. He'd score like 15 goals a season easy. But Werner's more. He's more accomplished. He's more of a finished product.
Right.
And he would really suit a team that press high as well. So if he goes to Liverpool, that could be dangerous.
Right. Well, man, you're thinking of getting. They're just linked with both players. So I was like, I'd rather get the one of the two.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Timo Werner's more accomplished. But Demba would still be a good signing, I think.
Still be a good signing.
Yeah.
And then like the ratings for the Bundesliga, like there's a, just like every league, they have like an after show, show the highlights. And I was reading on this article how like the demand and the amount of people that watch the after league Bundesliga show. First of all, they showed it for free. I guess you have to have a subscription to the channel in Germany that normally broadcast it, but they showed it for free, and the ratings are through the roof.
They have a mixture there because there's they've got Sky Sports in Germany as well, and they show some of it. And then there's a like a national free-to-air channel who show some of the stuff, and they've got like their equivalent of Match of the Day on that. I remember watching it a few because I've like me and some friends like a couple of times a year we'll go out to Germany to watch Bundesliga games. Oh, right. And I remember like afterwards we'll be in the bar that night and that'll come on the TVs and everyone will stop and watch it.
Right.
But yeah, it's a fun time going out there to watch games.
You speak German?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I can say hello and goodbye and ask for things, but that's about it. I can have a conversation with anyone.
Hello, goodbye, and order beer and sauce.
That's pretty much it. That's all you need to know anyway. But if you go out there, you say to them like "Sprechen Sie English," and they always go a little, and then they speak better English than most people in this country.
It's hilarious. Every time I go to a foreign country and I ask in Europe, like in Holland or something, and I ask a native like, "How many languages do you speak?" They say, "Only 5." I was like, "Only 5?"
Yeah.
Speaking the only one I speak right now. You don't put an only in front of 5 languages. Are you out of your mind? Who do you know that speaks more that's making you feel insecure about only speaking 5? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of British people who do go out there though. Most Bundesliga clubs have a UK fan club.
Right.
Of sorts. So like Dortmund's probably the main destination for people just because of the atmosphere there and stuff. But
whatchamacallit, what teams or stadiums have you been to see games in Germany?
So the team I adopted was FC Cologne.
Cologne?
Yeah.
I saw
The first ever time I went out there, I went to watch them in 2013, and they lost 4-0 to Hoffenheim, who had Demba, if you remember him from Chelsea. He was at Hoffenheim first, and I saw him destroy Cologne. But Cologne, like they were losing 4-0, but the fans were still singing. Yeah. And they play in red and white like Southampton. So I was like, yeah, they're mediocre. They play in red and white. They're my team. It's a cool city as well. It's like a party city, Cologne. They have like a big national carnival there once a year as well and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But I've been there. I've been to Gladbach, Dusseldorf. There's a team who were in the second division. I think they're now in the fourth division called Aachen. Been there as well. Leverkusen, been there. Been to smaller, but yeah, I was try and get all around Europe. I've seen games in Holland, Italy, Spain, Portugal, France. Where else? Belgium, quite a few times. Belgium you can get to in like an hour once you cross the channel from here. So yes.
Which country do you think has the best atmosphere in their stadiums?
Germany, I would say. But I went to Porto versus Benfica in Portugal, and most Portuguese games there's not much atmosphere because it's like the Scottish League. There's like a couple of big teams and then everyone else is shit. Well, not shit, just not as good as those big teams. They dominate. But when you see two of them play, like Porto Benfica was crazy because it's a real rivalry. Right. Like it was mad. But Germany, I think, is more consistent. Like every stadium is packed out. Right. But yeah, there's some places in the US and Canada that are getting there though. Like the LAFC games look pretty wild.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I used to live in Toronto, and the TFC fans, they create something that's close to a European atmosphere. But they like
Toronto FC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't say that like it's a known entity, bro.
It is to MLS fans.
You cannot acronym that.
But like Toronto's such a like a crazy multicultural city. So there's lots of people, like lots of people with like South American heritage there and stuff, and like Eastern European heritage. So they've got like that football culture in their sort of DNA. So their games are pretty good. When I lived there, I sort of went most weeks, and that was good fun.
Let me go back to something you brought up, a player, and it reminded me that I was just going to make a point about German football because I'm still trying to figure it out, But how many goals did Demba score in a season when he was with what team was he with again?
Hoffenheim. He was at
Hoffenheim. So what did he average at Hoffenheim?
I need to look it up, but I think he scored like between 15 and 20 out there.
And then who bought him in England?
I think it was Newcastle first.
And then how many goals did he score for Newcastle?
I think he was pretty consistent out there, like 10, 15 a season.
So no drop off?
No, he had a bit of, because he was going to go, I can't remember which club were going to buy him at one point, but they said his knee was like, I think after the medical, they actually called his knee a ticking time bomb. Oh, I think it was Stoke before he went to Newcastle. Stoke looked at getting him from Hoffenheim and then said no.
Well, I'm trying to do like I'm trying to figure the German league out but I'm going to use the smallest sample, like that's going to be completely unreliable to judge the league. So Hoffenheim, he scored 37 goals in 2007, between 2007 and 2011, right? So how many seasons is that? That's 2007. That's like 4 seasons or 3 seasons. 2007 to 2008, 2008 to 2009, 2009 to 2010, 2010 to, that's like 37 goals in 4 seasons, that's okay. Then in 12 games at West Ham, he scored 7 goals, which is pretty good.
I forget he was at West Ham as well, yeah.
Yeah. So then he goes to Newcastle and scores 29 goals in 2 years. which ain't bad. That's like 15 a season, like you were saying.
Yeah, for a middle Premier League club, yeah.
Yeah. Then he goes to Chelsea at 7. Now we don't know if there were injuries there. And then Chelsea in 30.
He was the backup at Chelsea as well. He didn't start every game.
Right. So he scored 7. But he didn't look like he could start there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But maybe he needed more playing time. I don't know. But then he goes Beşiktaş. What's the Turkish team? Beşiktaş?
Beşiktaş, yeah.
Yeah. Scores 18 goals in 29 games. And then he's in, I guess, China, Shanghai, Shenhua, and 20 goals in 29 games.
Yeah. He's, I think most of his career, he's averaged like a goal every 2 games at least.
I'm trying to figure out if it's the league. Because even at Hoffenheim, his numbers weren't like through the roof to see like a dramatic drop off. And in Newcastle, he does great. Or 15 goals a season. And then they sell him to Chelsea because they're Newcastle. And that's what they do. Let me see. What's his name? What's the Mexican player? Chicharito.
So he went the other way, didn't he? He went to Leverkusen after he'd already played in the UK for a while.
Right. But he was like not getting to, he wasn't starting, right? So he wasn't starting. He goes to Man U first. Then he ends up in Spain. Like we suckered Real Madrid into buying him. Right? And then after that, he goes to Bayer Leverkusen. So and then he shows out at best. Oh shit. So I felt like he struggled when he came back to England. I felt like he struggled in England, but maybe it's just my memory because
he'd got a bit older though. But there's some players who've done it like the other way though. You look at Firmino. So Firmino, I'm looking for Hoffenheim. He scored 38 goals in 140 games.
Damn.
And then at Liverpool, he scored 56 in 166.
And he has assists.
Yeah. Although at Hoffenheim, he played more as a number 10. He played like off the striker rather than as the 9 like he does at Liverpool.
So you're saying he scored more for Liverpool than he did for...
Yeah, he scored more in the Premier League than he has in the Bundesliga.
Can you hear that garbage truck in the background?
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Only a little bit.
Sorry, everybody. I got to stop doing this by the window every Monday, around this time, around garbage pickup time. I was just going to look at Chicharito's numbers with Manchester United. He scored 37 goals in 5 years. I didn't even know he played for us that long, but it's 103 matches. And, and he was subbed in. So 37 good goals is not bad. And then he goes to Real Madrid and scores 7 goals in 23 games, which is not bad. Then he's not starting all of those games. But then he goes to Bayer Leverkusen and scores 28 goals in 54 matches. And that's 2 years. So that's not bad, which gets him a move to West Ham. And he only scores 16 goals. I assume he was starting at Leverkusen. And when he comes to West Ham, he wasn't good enough to start on a regular basis for West Ham. And West Ham,
he was never a favour there, really.
Yeah, and West Ham didn't have the best strikers either. So it's like you started at Bayer Leverkusen, you played a lot, and you couldn't even get into the starting team on a West Ham team that almost got, or just hovering above the relegation zone. So, I don't know, maybe the British League is stronger.
Yeah, I think overall, top to bottom it is. Money will have a lot to do with that as well, but Germany's not far behind. It's
right.
It's an ultra competitive league. It's a great place for young players, and it's good fun to watch.
Right. I mean, it is weird based on like the technical ability and the speed that I witnessed yesterday from like 10 German sides. You know, so like they lose better than English teams lose. You know what I mean? Like when sometimes when an English team from the bottom of the table they lose, you're like, oh, this team sucks. Like, I can tell why they're losing. Like they can't even get the ball out the back. They can't string 3 or 4 passes together. They're losing their composure. But, you know, I don't know, it's just German league mystifies me because I saw like a lot of really good players on both sides of the ball. And I remember like, you know, when I was like playing soccer, like everybody was like good, but then you could tell when somebody was really good because they had that touch, that pro touch. And then whenever you know, the moment you identify that shit and you're like, you know, you're playing like a pickup game. And then there's this one guy you never seen before and he's on one of the teams. And then the way he collects the ball compared to, it lets you know you've been collecting the ball wrong your entire life. And you never collected a ball like that. And then like every time he touches the ball, you're looking at him, you're like, how the fuck is he doing that? And he's doing this regular everyday thing that we've been doing all our lives, but just simpler and just better with no flair. And to me, when I was watching the German league yesterday, you know, I felt like 90% of the players had that pro touch, which I can't always say for the players in the Premier League.
Yeah.
For some reason, the Premier League is a better league.
Yeah, I think it's always subjective, isn't it? There's no real way to prove it because there's so many variables.
I prove it with my eyes.
Yeah, but you don't know about the level of the opposition. There might be more mistakes in England because the tempo's higher, but to be fair, it's pretty quick in Germany. So
yeah,
it's hard to say. But
yeah, I'm just eyeballing it, you know.
Yeah,
eyeballing. I'm no expert. I'm just
glad. I'm just glad there is some football to eyeball right now.
Yeah, I didn't even care there was no crowd. You know, I was just like, it was just fun to wake up 6:30 in the morning after going to bed at 2 and struggling to get out of bed and come downstairs to the living room just to sit on the couch and turn the TV back on.
You miss that feeling?
Yeah, that feeling. I'm too tired to do this, but I'm going to do this. And I just watched it.
Did you hear about the Korean game where they didn't have a crowd?
The Korean game when they didn't have a crowd?
They did have a crowd.
What?
But they've had to apologise because that crowd was all sex dolls. It was at FC Seoul. There's a news story on it. If you have a look, they put a load of sex dolls in the stands.
Why sex dolls? Let me
Korea.
tell you. FC Seoul. How do you spell Seoul? With an E?
SEOUL or UOL? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's SE. Yeah. SE. So let me.
Just put dolls maybe.
I'm gonna put this on the shit.
You're going on private browser mode for this.
I'm gonna share screen. Share. There you go. Coronavirus football. FC Seoul apologizes for sex dolls in the stand. I bet you Hudson Odoi would love to play for this team. With Kyle Walker and Grealish.
I like how the dolls were still socially distancing though.
They were distancing. They looked like nurses, like they could fix stuff. So all the dolls were female. It sounds like a good fun laugh. What were they apologizing for?
Well, some of the dolls that says there, they were holding signs advertising porn sites and stuff.
Hey man, you got to make some money.
That's
These
it.
are dire times.
Business is business.
It's a business. It's a new business model. Why apologize when more teams might do this? Like, you can't get fans in the stands. So they apologize for capitalizing on football. Football is not a charity event. It's to make money. And this is a legit business, right?
Yeah.
So what is the problem? They probably shouldn't have covered the mouths, though. That's bad advertising. Like, I'm sure the men watching or in the market for a sex doll want to see the mouth. It's a part of why you get a sex doll. And this one here in the white tee, they could have dressed her better. They could have dressed all of them better. Are these soccer jerseys?
Yeah, well, I think the one there's got like a Soul tracksuit on.
Yeah. Yeah, you hold up the sign for the sex company. I don't want them going to the wrong sex company and buying the wrong doll if I paid to put these here. This is business.
Yeah, and having them in the stands, it gives a new meaning to the phrase "OnlyFans."
Yeah, OnlyFans. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a sex doll and create a OnlyFans for the sex doll.
I didn't realize you got that desperate, man.
No, it's just for the fun of it. I'm just gonna have. It'll just be fun to like have her have like captions. Come to my OnlyFans. A sex doll with its OnlyFans, and then just put her in different positions. And I want to see if it works. I'm doing it. Get her a sex doll male, and just have them do sexy shit, sexy funny shit. You know,
gotta pay those bills.
I mean, I wouldn't even be doing it for the money. I'll take the money. All costs money, but I just think it would be fun. See how far it could go. I'm doing that. Fuck it.
There you go. Inspired by FC Soul.
It's inspired by FC Soul, who should not have apologized for being smart. Yeah.
But I think I sent you a picture of the news story. So Gladbach, they played away this weekend, but when they're at home, they sold, like, people could buy a spot to put a cardboard cutout of themselves in the stand. So they're going to have fans in their stand, but it will just be pictures.
Okay. Yeah, I think you sent it to me on my phone. Damn. I'm glad that I'm not showing you I'm stopped sharing the screen. So you can't see how bad I'm spelling mooching.
You can just put Gladbach and it'll find it.
All right. You want to see how bad I'm spelling Gladbach?
Yeah, if you put like Gladbach cardboard cutouts, it'll bring it up.
Oh, here it is. It's taking its sweet time. Let me share the screen again. Where is this story? I think it's right here. Share this. Soccer diehards fill empty stadium with cardboard cutouts of fans. Oh, shit. Did they, how much did they pay?
19 euros.
That's a considerable amount of money to pay to not be somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's just for one game or whether they're going to leave them there for the whole behind closed doors period.
Did they pipe in sound?
No, I don't think they've done that yet. They've done that at some of the Korean games, though.
Oh, yeah. Don't be surprised if these soccer fans look a little bored. Supporters of German club Borussia Mönchengladbach have filled their stadium with thousands of cardboard cutouts of themselves in the event that sports return behind closed doors in May. The cutouts planted in the Borussia Park Stadium seats cost about $20. Damn, a pop. Required people to submit a photo wearing their club kits. Local print shops or produce cutouts a bid to help them keep their business alive. That's cool. That's like, it's a good thing to keep like other businesses going.
Yeah, it's a good PR thing as well. And I think once that story got out, there's like people from around the world like adopting them as their team and buying a cutout. So
that's creative. The club embraced the idea and allowed supporters to enter the 50,000 seat stadium to place some 3,000 cutouts in seats so far, according to me. You know what I would have did? So you're a fan yourself, and you enter the stadium to put the cutout in. I'm hiding in the bathroom. And I'm staying for the game. or I'm just going to sit there like a cutout. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting next to my cutout of me. And like, are those twins? Like, so I get to go in the stadium but not see the game. I'm gonna try to. They're gonna have to kick me out.
Their home game's not for another week. Like, you're gonna have to take some supplies in with you.
Oh, okay. I'll just do it like Inside Man. You ever seen the movie Inside Man?
Yeah.
In Washington? Yeah. I'll build a whole room. I'll watch the game. Yeah.
You can just break into some stadiums. I snuck in some foreign football stadiums before.
Oh yeah, like where?
Bologna in Italy.
Oh yeah.
I was on holiday in Bologna, and I thought, I'll go and have a look at the stadium. Always like, if I'm in a city where there's a stadium I've not seen before, I like to go have a look. And there was like this one side door that was open with these workmen going in and out of it. And I just waited for a quiet period and just went in. I was just walking around the stadium, like walking by the side of the pitch with no one else there.
Oh shit!
I stayed in for like 10 minutes and I left because I was like, I don't want to get arrested by Italian cops. That's not fun.
Right. I don't blame you for doing that.
Yeah, but like on the stadium tours I've been on a stadium tour at Real Madrid, and it's self-guided, so you just walk in and then you just walk around. But I stayed in there for I took a drink in with me, and I stayed in there for 3 hours just reading a book in the stands in the VIP seats. It was a nice sunny day. It's that's a good view to have.
That's hilarious.
I had like a book on the history of Spanish football. I just sat there in the big leather VIP seats, just reading that, looking at the Bernabeu.
That's a perfect place to read a book like that.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah, it's fun. Did you see all their trophies and stuff like that?
Yeah, the trophy room is big.
How come there's never, they have all these movies, right, about big jewel heists, and movie with Sean Connery and what was her name? I can't remember her name. And she was ducking in between the lasers.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
There we go.
Entrapment was what it's called.
Entrapment.
Entrapment. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's the first time I saw her. I was like, damn, who is this woman? Jesus, stunning. And it's why don't they how come there's no let's heist all the trophies out of? There should be a soccer movie where somebody plans a heist and the same way what's the name of that Ocean's? Why don't somebody Ocean's 11 all the trophies from Man United or Real Madrid? That'll be a great heist.
They're probably all fake ones in there.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Who has the real ones?
Don't know. They're probably in some safe or something. Rob that instead.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Somebody's gotta have them. You robbed. Who wouldn't want the real thing?
Well, the original World Cup got robbed in England years ago.
Yeah, in '66, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they found it. A dog found it.
Yeah, Pickles.
Yeah. I think that dog stole it.
Yeah, they thought it was stolen to be melted down or something.
Yeah. Any other crazy stories?
Nah, not that I've seen. That's about it.
Let me see if there's anything that's on the BBC.
Apart from just transfer rumors.
What's the most solid transfer rumor that's believable? Because there's a lot of far-fetched ones, or just some of these sites, they have to generate interest or stories just to keep people.
Oh yeah, they need to get their clicks. I mean, to be fair, they talk shit even when there's a lot of football on. So when there's no football on, they need to talk even more shit.
Worse. Yeah.
The big one is Jimenez, actually, was another big one today from Wolves.
Oh yeah, Man U, and who's trying to get him?
Juve and Man U.
Yeah.
And Koulibaly from Napoli, been linked with United as well, and Liverpool.
There was a player Oh yeah, and then you text me about Lookman. I didn't know Lookman went to. Where did he go to? And I was watching him play this week.
Leipzig. Yeah, he's at Leipzig. He'd been out there before as well.
He's been out
He
there.
went back to it. Yeah, he got loaned out there and then he went back again.
Yeah.
So he was at Leipzig when Hudson, the Southampton manager, was out there.
Oh yeah.
Because we were linked with him before he went out there.
Oh yeah. They subbed him in, and he had a good look at goal. Like all he had to do was a ball that was lobbed over to him, and he put it wide. But it was a chance. It was a solid chance, and it would have been great for him as a sub. And yeah, it's just interesting to see players that normally don't play like in other countries. What do you think about the substitution rule? 5 subs. You have to 2 probably at halftime, and then the 3 at any other time. Like why?
I don't think it's mandated for halftime, but I think they just can't do more than 3 at one time.
No, I thought it was like
or something. I don't know.
no more than let me see, German substitution rule. It's just like, why don't you just give them 5 subs? But it's like,
I think it's to stop them doing all 5 individually to waste time if they're winning.
Yeah. Soccer players are going to find ways to waste time. You can't. Let me just read this thing. Let me just read this thing badly. Share. Bundesliga clubs will be allowed to use 5 substitutions per game when the season resumes on Saturday. The clubs in the top 2 German divisions decide on Thursday to accept temporary rule change. The change is meant to reduce the workload on players as leagues pack their schedules. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't break it down. But from what my understanding was, you can make 3 substitutes any other time in the game, but the halftime, if you didn't make the halftime substitution and you didn't make any substitutions before halftime, you only had 3 for all game. Like you had to make a substitute. That's why the first game I watched, there was a substitution at halftime, and I was like, your team was doing good. Why did they sub the guy? But then when they explained the rule, I was like, all right, they wanted to make sure they had more than 4 subs.
Oh no, I've seen it here. It says they can use 5, but they've only got 3 windows.
Okay.
It doesn't say when they have to be, so it's just you've only got 3 breaks to use them in.
Okay.
That you decide to call.
So you can make 2 subs at one time.
Yeah.
4 subs at one time.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But as a whole, I feel like just as long as like nobody tests positive or any crazy thing happens to anybody, that the German league was a success. And based on that success, it opens the door for the possibility of the other leagues around Europe opening up, and that soccer will be back to us just sooner than later. Like there's just hope for us, you know?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be watching more German football. It's like this weekend coming up, 6:30 in the morning again. I'm at it. You know what I mean?
What else are you gonna do?
Could sleep. I've been getting some amazing sleep, but like this is the first time like in 8 weeks that my sleep pattern has been like completely destroyed. Like I woke up, went to bed like 2. Woke up like 6 because I wanted to see some of the pre-game stuff.
Yeah.
Watch that, and then I was fine for the first game. Then when it came to like the second game, then I got like a little tired. So then there's one game, I watched the second game right away. And then one day, like I had to like pause the second game and like take a nap and then turn it back on to continue watching it. Like the first day, Saturday, was 3 games. So then I watched the first 2 back to back, and then the third one, I was like, I went to sleep. Then I woke up and then I watched. But then it's like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Now it's time to start my day at 2 p.m., which, you know what, I'm a comic. I'm used to starting my day at 2 p.m. during the week. So
yeah, I was about to say, wait until stand-up starts again, then your sleep will be really messed up again.
yeah. Yeah, just go back to that schedule.
Who knows when that'll be though.
Yeah, what's the prognosis for stand-up in England coming back?
Still nothing. They've still not said anything or announced anything at the moment. In some countries in Europe, though, in Austria, as of the 29th of May, I think it is, they're allowing events for up to 100 people. And then at the end of June, they're allowing up to 300. Then from the 29th of July, 500.
How hard did Austria get hit?
A fair bit, because they got a border with Italy.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think it was great there, but it wasn't as bad as Spain or Italy, I don't think.
Right.
There's a venue in Amsterdam that started up shows again with audience capped at 30.
Oh yeah.
So they can spread out.
There's some comedy clubs out here that opened up. Like I think Zany's in Nashville is opening up this weekend. But a few weekends ago, I think they're improvs, I'm not sure, don't quote me on it. They opened up at 25% capacity. So they've been open for like the last 3 weeks. And to my surprise, I heard the first 2 weeks at 25% capacity, they didn't, like I've seen videos of people like chilling in Texas, no mask, no nothing. But I don't think a lot of people came out to the comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Not even at 25% cap.
Yeah, I've seen like some people here and some people out there have started trying to do like open air mics where people like drive in stuff and like a drive-in cinema kind of thing, but with a comedian. It's crazy.
I haven't seen that. I saw a church where people were parked in the parking lot and the minister was on like a podium and he had a mic. So it's like a drive-in church, just like, drive-in movie theater.
Yeah.
People in the cars. Yeah.
Over here, there was a thing as well where like these comedians, they stood out front of an apartment block and all the people came out to like their balconies and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
They just did like a show looking up to like a whole apartment block.
Did they film it?
I think there's clips of it somewhere, or pictures at least.
Yeah, there's some creative stuff going on, and then there's some people trying too hard to create content that's like heart-tugging. And so it's not really heart-tugging because you're really doing it because you think if you do this thing, like the thing in Italy where everybody was playing music on their balcony together at a certain time. They're like, oh, that's like a natural thing. And then there's other people trying to recreate like these fake natural things, like, everybody's, and I guess you got to do what you got to do. But like, if you're going to do it just to make somebody feel better about their birthday or whatever, fine. But if you're doing it to like, we want to capture this thing of we're not doing it for your birthday. We're doing it for the content and the excuses of your birthday.
Doing it for the likes. How have you found doing the Zoom shows? You've done a handful now, haven't you?
I haven't done stand-up yet. I've been on.
Oh, you've just been going on talking. Yeah.
Going on talking, but my first Zoom stand-up show, I'm glad you reminded me, is May 22nd, which is this Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, California time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's kind of scary because I got to do like half an hour. I haven't performed and they really want me to do 40 minutes, but I'm doing half an hour. And I haven't performed in like 2 months. And I have to figure out what is the new stuff that's relatable to what's going on now that I can do, and what's the old stuff that's gonna work because the world has changed.
Yeah.
I'll have all this week. Today's Monday to figure that out, and so that I don't bomb that bad. But I, if anybody's listening, come check it out. I'm going to be at the Nowhere Comedy Club, and it's the nowherecomedyclub.com. And if you go to my Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic, there's an Eventbrite ticket link. And I have a good opener and a good host. And the Nowhere Comedy Club has been doing some really good shows. They got Jimmy O Yang. They got they've had some. Alonzo Bolden has done shows. I think Gina Yashere is going to do a show. They've had some really good comics do a show. I did a show yesterday where I was on the panel, but Brent Weinbach did stand up. And so yeah, it's
Nice.
scary, but fuck it, I'm gonna have some fun.
Yeah, why not? See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about or plug before we get out of here? There's no soccer, so I'm not gonna try to stretch this thing out. It's not as much.
No, just search my name on social media. I'm on all of them. That's it.
Say it, Lee. Say the name.
Lee Hudson. Yeah, it's that and comedy. Lee Hudson Comedy.
Lee Hudson Comedy, y'all. So check it out.
That's the one.
All right, thanks for coming through all the way from England via Zoom, bro. And,
thanks for having me, as always.
My pleasure. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun watching the games this weekend.
You need to pick a team as well.
So what?
You need to pick a team.
I mean, I've already been a Bayern fan from, and I'll always watch Bayern and Dortmund games when I have a chance. But now I'm watching everything, and I'm liking what I'm seeing, man. German league is real. Yeah, so I like what I'm seeing. But thanks for coming on, man. And everybody out there, be careful. Thanks. Everybody out there, be careful, be safe, be smart, and everybody's got to do, what suits them. But be careful doing it. All right. 1.